Hello, dear students, and welcome back to the online classes of social science. Today, I'm going to provide you the second part of the third chapter of geography, that is natural vegetation and wildlife. As we have seen in the previous part, or we have learned about the natural vegetation in the previous part, we learned about forest, types of forest, how we learn about the causes of the destruction of forest, we learn about deforestation, and we learn that how forests are important or natural vegetation is important to us. In this part, we are going to learn about wildlife. So students, wildlife is an inherent part of forest. Each one has, or each one of us has a role to play in the ecosystem. Therefore, each organism or each living being is important for the survival of the other. In this part, we will learn about wildlife. Before starting the chapter, let's have a look at the content. What we are going to learn is what is wildlife, wildlife in India, importance of wildlife, destruction of wildlife, IUCN. We learn about endangered, threatened, and extinct species, protected natural resources, conservation, and steps taken by the government for the conservation of wildlife or natural vegetation. So let's start our chapter. So firstly, what is wildlife? Whenever we use the word wildlife, that means the life that exists in the forest. Or we can say that wild animals, the animals that lives or reside in the forest, are considered as wildlife. Now, wildlife traditionally refers to the animals that we cannot domesticate. That means wildlife traditionally refers to undomesticated animal species, but has come to include all organisms that grow or live wild in an area without being introduced by humans. The wild animals are the animals that are not that gentle that we can tame them. They are meant for the wild areas only, for the forest only. Wildlife can be found in all the ecosystems. Now, we will see wildlife in India. Wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, and many other microorganisms. Every microorganism is important in an ecosystem. However, it is common knowledge now that many wild species have become extinct. We will see it later, but now let's have a look on the next topic, that is wildlife in India. In this part, we will learn about the condition or the availability of wildlife or animals in India, like its flora, like you have seen in the previous part, like varieties of flora, that is plants, animals, plants, shrubs, herbs, trees, creepers, climbers found in India in varieties of forest. Like that only, India is also rich in its fauna, that means animal or wildlife diversity. In India, approximately 90,000 species of animals are available, 2,000 species of birds are there, 2,546 species of fishes are there, 5 to 8% of the world's amphibians. All of you are knowing what is amphibians. Amphibians are the animals that can live on land as well as in water also, like frog, or we can say that crocodile, alligator, all these are the amphibians. Reptiles are also there, and mammals, those who give birth to their young ones. So the Indian fauna, or we can say that the Indian wildlife constitute 13% of world's total wildlife. Total wildlife present in the world. Okay, so India is having 13% of the wildlife of whole world. Now let's have a look. These are the basic, or we can say that these are the animals that are belong to India. This is Asiatic lion. This is a Royal Bengal tiger. This is one-horned rhinoceros. Kaziranga National Park is famous for this one-horned rhinoceros. This is Indian elephant and Indian leopard. Now we will see what are the importance of wildlife. Why wildlife is important for us? because wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, reptiles, even the microorganisms also, as well as the water animal or aquatic animals also. Wild animals provide us varieties of, they are having varieties of medicinal, we can say that, properties also animals are also having, or it is used for meat, milk, hides, wool. Their skin is useful for us, their tusk is useful for us. So varieties of decorative items, or we can say that smuggling of the animals took place everywhere, whole world. Animal help in pollination of flowers also. This you have learned in science also, that how animals help in the pollination of the flowers or in the reproduction of the flowers. They play an important role as decomposers in the ecosystem. We learned about the food chain, like decomposers are there, consumers are there, very scavengers are there. We learned about this also. So basically wildlife is important because they are integral to maintaining balance in the ecosystem. There are things that are not good for the ecosystem, like we have learned about the food chain, that how varieties of animals, or animals, some animals depend on flowers or plants, some animals depend on animals, like we have learned about carnivores, omnivores, herbivores. So all these animals are somehow playing an important role in the ecosystem, or we can say that for balancing the ecosystem. Now we will see the next topic. Though two words I will explain you, or two term I will explain you. The first is species. So let's see, species. Whenever we call or use the term species, it means it is a group of population which are capable of interbreeding. The members of same species have same characteristic. Species means, like if we will talk about dog, wolf, jackal, all these, or fox, all these belongs to the same species. They are having same characteristics. So basically the animals that are having same characteristics, they are having same characteristics, and we can say that they are interbreeding. By interbreeding we can increase their population also, so that is known as species. Now endemic, what do you mean by the word endemic? So endemic is basically, we use the word endemic species. Endemic species means there are varieties of plant and trees and animals that can grow at particular, or that can survive in a particular place. So endemic species are those species or plant and animals which are found exclusively in a particular area. They are not naturally found anywhere except that place. A particular type of animal or plant may be endemic to a zone or a country. There are varieties of animals that are found in India, but those animals are not found in Australia or America or New Zealand or Switzerland. There are varieties of animals that are found in those countries but are not available in our country. Like Asiatic lions are basically found in that Gujarat region, that cannot be found in every region of India. So basically what is the meaning of endemic? Endemic species are those species which are found exclusively in particular area. I hope it is clear to you. The species of animals that are found in particular or exclusively, particularly in a area, so that are known as endemic species. Let's have a look on the giant squirrel. This is the giant squirrel. It belongs to India, and this species is only available, of a squirrel is only available in Indian regions. So this is the example of endemic. If we will talk about the tree, the banyan tree is endemic species of India because it is basically or majorly available in the Indian regions. Now let's have a look on the next topic, that is destruction of wildlife. What are the reasons that are causing destruction to our wildlife? So first of all, that is loss of habitat due to the process of degradation of land, or we can say that due to the process of deforestation, many animals are losing their habitat. What is the meaning of habitat? That means the place where they are living. So habitat loss is probably the greatest threat to the variety of life on this planet today, because habitat loss and degradation affect 86% of all threatened birds or mammals 88% of threatened amphibians. When a plant or an animal does not have a habitat, that means a living place, and cannot adapt to a different environment, it will become extinct. Like wild animals are meant for the forest only. They cannot live in the region where humans survive. So if their habitat, if we will cut the forest, then the animals move towards various regions, and those regions are not good for them, are not fit for their survival. So like this also caused in the loss of habitat. The next we will see introduction of new species. Like many new species also, we can say that, grow up in the environment by the change in climatic conditions. If there like that, there are some species that were existing in the previous or in the past time, they are totally extinct, and now their place has been taken by new species. So the introduction of plant and animal species that are not endemic to a given locality is both a natural and human process. Like I told you about the giant squirrel that is endemic to India, but if people take that squirrel to another place and they start the process of interbreeding of that squirrel, so maybe that squirrel can available there also. So that is only the that often has a disastrous knock-on consequence for local biota, often including extinction of native taxa. So introduction of species that are not native to a given area may occur through regular dispersal process over short geographic distances. So by the introduction of new species, the older species started extinct. Now climatic conditions. The change in climatic conditions are also responsible for the extinction or the destruction of the wildlife, like we have seen about the dinosaurs. Climate change is caused by a number of things, that is natural also, that is caused by humans also. So the effect that climate has on extinction is very big. The biodiversity means the diversity, the variety of animals, species that survive on earth can't keep up with the rapid changes in temperature and climate. The species are not used to serve weather conditions and long seasons or a changing chemical makeup of their surroundings. So as more species die, it is only making it more difficult for the survivors to find food. So basically the change in climate changes the condition of the environment also, and there are some animals that they do not change themselves according that rapidly, like the climate is changing. That is why those animals also dies. Now epidemic diseases, like this time we are facing an epidemic disease in our country, that is coronavirus, and due to that disease or COVID-19, due to that disease many human species are also dying, humans are also dying. That like that only, in case of any epidemic disease, like we have learned about bird flus and all those, so that results in the killing or in the dying of the animals. So each species has defense mechanism like immunities and the ability to fight diseases. With the changing climate, certain species are losing their ability to fend off diseases. So in case when animals are not able to fight up or their immunities are not that good that they can fight with any disease, so in that case of an pandemic or epidemic disease, animal used to die. Now there are various human causes that are leading to the destruction of wildlife. Pollution, deforestation. By cutting the trees, we are destroying the habitat of the wild animals. Transformation of nature into resources. We are cutting the trees, we are changing the forest into human communities. Pollution leading to acid rains. There are various regions, toxic chemicals, there are air pollution in the environment. So human activities leading to global warming also. Human activity is only resulting in the increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That is also the reason why animals do not survive. Unregulating or illegal killing or poaching or hunting of animals, might be you have seen that how local hunters or the hunters hunt the animals for their skin, for their fur, or for their body parts. So that is only illegal killing or hunting, or the poaching. Poaching means that is only killing of the animals, also results in the destruction of wildlife. Damage of forest during colonial period, agricultural expansion, so that is the result of increasing population only. As the population is increasing, more and more land is required for the agriculture also, for the building of houses and industries also. So that is also resulting in ultimate destruction of the wildlife. Large scale development project, like for the construction of dams, for the construction of highways, airports and all those, for that also we are cutting the forest, or we are destroying the habitat of the animal life. For the mining purpose also, like we have seen that forest areas are rich in mining. Those areas, why those areas are rich in mining areas? Because due to the destruction, or we can say that due to the decomposition of the plants and animals dead, so that land is very good for the mining purpose. So all these are the causes for the destruction of the wildlife. Now we will see about IUCN, that is International Union for the Conservation of Nature. What is IUCN? So IUCN is basically an international organization. IUCN, that means international, I for international, U for union, C for conservation of nature. So International Union for the Conservation of Nature. This is the union of some countries. So basically it is an international organization that is headquartered in Gland, Switzerland. Its headquarter is in Switzerland. You can see the logo of IUCN also. This organization works for the preserving of the natural resources, or we can say that for the preservation of the animals and plants, and it works for the sustainable use of the natural gatherings. So basically IUCN always provide a red, maybe you have heard the name of the red list book. So there is a book that named red list, or IUCN always publish red list of threatened species. That means it is having a criteria. This organization do researches of animals and look upon the activities of the animals, observe them, and they learn about, and they do researches on each and every species of the animals. So basically they are having some criteria of dividing the animal species on the basis of their availability on the surface of the earth. So maybe you have heard about the threatened species, endangered species, or we can say extinct species, the species that are very rare, that are vulnerable. So this is the way like they divided, or they used to divide the species that are existing on the earth surface. There are some species that are not still evaluated, they are also not knowing. There are some species of animals that are not known to us also. Okay, there are some animals, about them data is very deficient, very less data is there. Least concerned animals, near threatened animals, the most important is this one, the critically endangered, the endangered and the vulnerable. And at last, as you can see that animals are moving toward the extinction risk. That means they are totally moving or destroying from the surface of the earth. So extinct species, we will learn about three major terms: endangered, threatened and extinct species. So let's have a look on the first one, that is threatened species. So when a species number are going down steadily, scientists say it is threatened. Threatened means the species that is going to be in the endangered list, their number is decreasing rapidly, and it is the time that we have to start protecting them. So basically the animals that whose number, or the species whose number are going down steadily, they are considered as threatened species. Okay, so basically there are those plant animals, birds and insects, they are at risk of becoming endangered. Endangered means, that means now they are moving towards the extinct one in the near future. In near future they will be no more existing on the surface of the earth. So these are also referred to as the red list species. Now, endangered species. What are endangered species? A species of plant or animal that is in immediate danger of becoming extinct and needs protection to survive. They are at their last stages. Very less number of animals or species are left of that animal. So that is considered as endangered species. That means we have to protect them. Endangered species are those plant and wildlife that are so small in number that they face the risk of becoming extinct. They are removed from the surface of the earth. So roughly 99% of all endangered species face the risk of extinction because of human activities. And why these animals are facing the extinction? It is all because of us. It is all because of human activities. So human beings are thought to be the greatest threat to biodiversity. Let's have a look on some of the animals that are considered as endangered. You can see in the first picture, that is Lares masca in Brazil. That is a bird named as Lares masca of Brazil. In the second picture, you can see it is a Panamanian golden frog. Next, it is panda. All of you are knowing about panda. These are the endangered species. They are going to be extinct. They are very less in number. This is, as you can see, this is golden langur. It is musk deer. I can see, you can see here, it is musk deer. It is basically found in the Himalayan ranges. That is also in extinct, endangered species. They are also very left in very less number. You can see the first picture. It is of golden langur or monkey. Now we will see what are extinct species. So the species of plant or animal that is no longer living on the surface of the earth, that are not left only. So what is the meaning of distinction? Extinction can be happen by two ways. First is natural extinction, happens when the last of the species dies due to environmental changes caused by change in climate or any natural disaster. Often new species that are better suited to the changed condition replace the extinct one. But it is a very slow process. So basically, however, the rapid extinction that are making take place are not natural but human made. So the animals that are extinct, that are not available anymore on the surface of the earth, it is all because of the human activities only. Like there are many examples of the extinct species. You have learned about dodo bird, dinosaurs are there, woolly mammoth were there, saber-tooth head cat was there, golden toad, Tasmanian tiger, passenger pigeon, the pigeon that we have seen in the earlier times, and ground sloth. So these are some of the species that are extinct, that are no more left on the surface of the earth. After this, we are going to see about protected natural resources. Like we have learned about biosphere. Biosphere is that part of earth in which living organism exist or which support life. We have seen in the previous part also I have explained you about the three realms of the earth, that how lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere interact with each other. These are the non-living composition of the earth's surface and interact with each other to support life, that is biosphere. What is biological diversity? Biological diversity means the varieties of plant and animal and human being and organisms that are surviving on the earth's surface. That is only known as the biodiversity of the earth's surface. All these animals, birds or human beings are interrelated with each other at many cases. So to protect these flora and fauna and their habitat or the places where they survive, protected areas are called, basically there are some areas that are being protected for the protection of the wildlife, for the protection of the trees, for the protection of the natural environment, and that is only known as sanctuaries, wildlife reserves, national parks, or biosphere reserves have been embarked. So basically plantation, cultivation, grazing or cutting of trees, hunting and poaching are not allowed in these areas. So these are the protected. Now we are going to learn about the how to conserve these natural resources or how to conserve wildlife and how to conserve natural vegetation. So for this only the government, state government or central government used to embark, that means protect some area that is especially protected for the conservation of plant and animals. So in that first we are going to learn about biosphere reserves. So biosphere reserves are the very larger areas. These are the areas meant for the conservation of biodiversity, in that varieties of animals and plants are conserved. The biosphere reserves help to maintain the biodiversity and culture of that area. So basically biosphere is an area that is set aside as a protected area for the preservation of flora, fauna or wildlife. The areas are generally larger. These are the largest areas, and basically the endangered species or the animals or the trees or the plants are protected here. Total there are 18 biosphere reserves in India. Now let's have a look. There are some biosphere reserves I have provided you in the map of India. Cold desert, that is Nanda Devi. You can see Panchmadi in that is in Uttarakhand. Nilgiri, Gulf of Mannar, Great Nicobar. So all these are the biosphere reserves of India. The next we are going to see, that is national parks. Now what are national parks? National parks are the areas that are set aside by the national governments. In this, the national governments play an important role to preserve the natural environment. They also serve for the purpose of recreation. That means people used to visit these national parks for their recreation, for the this is also a tourist spot or as a picnic spot, and public enjoyment centers for historic or scientific interest. We can also say that there are lots of animals and plants are preserved in this national parks. You might have heard some of the names also: Kaziranga National Park, Hemis National Park. There are lots of national parks in India. So basically there are 103 national parks in India and 544 wildlife sanctuaries for protecting the animal, birds, insects and natural environment. In addition to that, we can say that you can see this is olive ridley turtle. So this turtle always come to the coast of Odisha to breed every year between October and May. As you can see in the second picture, where lots of ridley turtles are there. So that is the time of their breeding. At the time when they can give birth to their young one, or for the breeding purpose they come. So basically this is the time from October to May that many olive ridley turtle came to the coast of Odisha for the purpose of breeding. You can also see this is the beautiful picture of flamingos. Flamingo is a variety of bird. So basically in the run of Kutch, in Gujarat there is a beach side, that is the run of Kutch, is the world's largest natural breeding place of flamingos. This place is also known as Flamingo City. Flamingos come here for the purpose of breeding. So this is the world's largest natural breeding place for flamingos. So like that only, there are varieties of places where we used to conserve the animals and plants, or the animals that are in danger. Government used to increase their numbers so that they cannot be extinct. There are varieties of national parks in India. The largest, or we can say that the biggest national park of India is the Hemis National Park in Jammu and Kashmir. After that we are having one desert national park of Rajasthan. So there are numerous animals and birds that are endemic to India alone. You can have a look that the various endemic, that means the species that belongs to India only. You can see the picture. This is the Himalayan wolf. The first picture is of Salim Ali's fruit bat. It is given in your book. The names are given. I am providing you the pictures. This is the Himalayan wolf. This is Salim Ali's fruit bat. This is Rongitan's free-tailed bat. This is Sumatran rhinoceros, and it is Indian vulture. All these are endangered species now. This is basically Malabar large spotted civet. This is Nandapa flying squirrel. As you can see the second picture, Namdafa flying squirrel, and this is Malabar large spot, pygmy hawk. This picture belongs to pygmy hawk. So all these are the varieties that are endangered in India now. These are the endangered, or we can say that endangered endemic species of India. Now let's have a look on conservation. As we have learned in the previous part about the process of deforestation, like how the process of deforestation is taking place on large scale. Due to that, the habitat of the wildlife is also destructing, and trees are also removing, forests are also reducing. When huge amount of forests are removed, the water balance get disrupted and the regions experiences the dryness. But deforestation is not just about trees. Just think about the ecosystem supported by forest and all the species dependent on them for their survival. So that is why the conservation is very important. Conservation means to preserve, to prevent, preserve the animals and the natural vegetation. What we can do to protect or to conserve our natural vegetation or wildlife? Okay, so basically the government should demarcate forest as protected areas and prevent illegal logging. That means illegal killing, poaching of animals. By using recycled papers, we can use recycled papers so that the pressure on the trees or the cutting of the trees can reduce. By preventing poaching of wildlife, by protecting, we can do some efforts for the protection of endangered and threatened species. By preventing hunting and smuggling of animals' body parts. This also plays an important role in the conservation of wildlife, because smuggling of the body parts of the animals is done on a very large scale, because their body parts are very expensive. People used to get good amount for their body parts, or this market is very huge. So basically we have to increase awareness and knowledge to preserve and conserve vegetation and wildlife through the media like newspaper, television, and like we are providing you the awareness that you have to work in the field for the conservation of natural resources and wildlife. Now let's have a look on one more. Now we will see what are the steps taken by the government for the preservation of natural vegetation and wildlife. So first of all, National Forestry Action Program. There are the, you have learned about forest administration also. There are many officials that work for the purpose of protecting the forest, or they worked in the forest for the protection of forest. They look upon the control of deforestation. They look upon that how can they increase the forest cover. National Wildlife Action Plan. This plan works implemented for wildlife conservation and the protection of endangered species. Under this program, many wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, and biosphere reserves have been set up by the government. Now you will be introduced by new words, that is CITES. CITES. CITE is an, we can say that it is an international organization that basically works to ensure that there is no illegal trading in threatened species of wild animals and plants, and protect thousands of species of animals and plants. This works to control the illegal poaching of animal or illegal smuggling of the body parts of the animals. Van Mahotsav is an annual festival that is celebrated in many parts of India to encouraging planting of trees. So basically you have learned about the Chipko movement, how people were just hug the trees for the welfare, or for the no cutting of the trees. So various movements have been started by lots of conservationists, those who used to conserve the natural resources. Wildlife Week is celebrated. Next is Wildlife Week. So Wildlife Week also celebrated in India every week of October. October is celebrated as Wildlife Month, and 1 week is observed as Wildlife Week in the country to increase awareness about wildlife. So basically, if someone asks you Wildlife Week, then it is October. So all these we have seen that how wildlife is important to us. We have seen what is wildlife, how we can protect the wildlife, what are the reasons that are creating destruction to the wildlife. So this chapter is completed, and I have provided you enough information and some extra information also that is related to this chapter. So this is all for today, students. Please read your book, go through the videos. You will be definitely able to understand. Just put some effort. We are putting so much effort for making these videos for you only. You can watch the video properly. If you are not able to watch a video in one time, you can watch a part in some parts. Watch the half part this time. Next day you can watch the other part. If you are not getting mobile phones, then utilize your time, little bit your time. Okay, so this is all for today. Please watch the video, read your book, and fill your book exercise. In case you are having any problem, I am there to help you. You can ask me through the WhatsApp group. Thank you, students.